Меня зовут Катя, я SEO компании T-English. У нас в компании работают преподаватели с опытом работы в IT, и Марьяна работает очень-очень много лет в IT-рекрутменте и преподает курсы английский для собеседований, и не только. Она сегодня проведет этот воркшоп, и это будет именно формат воркшопа. Мы постараемся сделать его максимально полезным, коммуникативным для всех. Я передаю слово Марьяне, общаемся иногда в чате, иногда можете поднимать руку, вот тут есть raise your hand в Zoom, и мы увидим, послушаем, выслушаем, ответим. Все, приятного времяпрепровождения.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Let me first share the presentation with you. Tell me, please, whether you can see it. Just put pluses in the chat. Or just unmute yourself and tell if you can see the presentation. Can you?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Thank you, Katya. So let's get to know each other a bit first. Katya already told you about English. I'd like to tell you about me a little bit, and I'd like to ask you about you a bit. Just write in the chat your job title and why are you actually here, why you're interested in situational questions. First, about me. I'm an international IT recruiter and career coach. I've been in IT talent acquisition field for more than 6 years already, and for this 6 years I've interviewed more than 8,000 people all over the world and prepared to the interview more than 1,000 people again all over the world. And now about you guys, could you write in the chat your job titles and why you're actually interested in nailing situational questions? Okay, I will be the first one in the chat actually. So I'm obviously a IT recruiter and career coach, and I would love to share my knowledge and experience with you today. How about you? Waiting for the answers in the chat. Hope you can see that chat. All right. I see that they wrote the plus that you can see the presentation. Nadia, could you tell me what you're working with and why you're actually here? Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. I see business analyst going to pass an interview in international company. Okay, in the nearest future. Good, got you. Thank you. Anyone else here? It takes time to write, especially in English. Anyone else that would like to share? All right, take your time writing. We'll read it afterwards. And now let's continue with the
Mariana, we
presentation.
have one more answer in the chat.
But oh yeah, Alex, hi, thank you. Yes, interview preparation, product manager, good. And thank you, Katya, for notifying me.
Another one.
Designer, yeah, I see. Now I see. Elizaveta, hi, thank you for coming today. Active search for first job. Okay, for first job, you'll be interested more in hypothetical questions. We'll have them, we'll cover them as well. Good, because junior, that probably would be one of the first interviews for you. Thank you for writing and for sharing with us that. All right, we have all the different IT people here, business analyst, product manager, designer. I like our company already much. All right. Okay, do we have any other answers? Not yet, so I continue with the presentation.
We actually do have, Mariana, I promise I interrupted you the last time. Lisa told us that she's a junior software engineer. Also, the interview preparation is what interests her.
It's probably what actually common thing for us today, both
right.
Software engineer. Yeah, so we have all the different IT people here. I like this very much, and thank you guys for sharing your job titles and why you're actually here. I see someone also waiting to coming. We will actually be done with the introduction and continue with the presentation itself. So about situational questions. But first thing do we need the situational questions? And actually, why do we need them? So the thing and the picture I've observed in the last years on the interview is like this. The candidate is almost always ready with the question, tell me about yourself. They might have polished answered for the question, tell me about your last project, or tell me about your current project. But the time when I ask them a situational question, something like, tell me about a time when you made your biggest mistake. First comes the silence. Then they usually say something like, this is a tough question. And then goes something like, are, could you repeat the question, please? And this is actually true even for native speakers. Believe me, I interviewed a lot of them. But this is especially true for non-native English speakers, because for them, obviously for all of us here, it's way harder to pass an interview in English. And on the other side, recruiters and hiring managers these days tend to ask situational questions more and more. Why? Because they want to catch you off guard. And we want you to be prepared. That's why we designed this workshop today, and that's why we're happy to have you here and share our experience with you. So first things first, what are situational questions? These are questions based on situations. They are quite open-ended, and they are designed to highlight your true strengths, true weaknesses, and characteristics without directly asking you about them. So for a situational question, I would not ask you, tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. I would ask you a different thing. I would ask you, tell me about a time you had your biggest success and about a time you had your biggest failure. There are two types of situational questions, behavioral and hypothetical. We'll cover both of them, but let's start with behavioral questions first. Behavioral questions are all the questions that start like, tell me about a time when you, describe a situation when you, give an example of a time when you did something, made a mistake, had your biggest success, took initiative, took a lead. Think of an instance in which you did something. Tell me how you approach a situation where you faced an angry customer or angry PM or your team lead or other situations. So these are the questions about your real prior experience, your professional experience. How to answer these questions? The best way to answer behavioral questions is to use STAR technique. STAR is an acronym. By the way, does anyone know what the STAR means? What the STAR stands for? Again, feel free to use the chat or just unmute yourself and answer. For this STAR technique, STAR acronym, what do you think it could be? What do you think it might mean? Do we have any answers in the chat? Or just start with the S or T, what you'd like to see or to say. Okay. If no answers, the presentation will give us the answer. So, in STAR technique, just a second. Yes, in STAR technique, S stands for situation. So first thing you need to do when you get a situational question, you need to describe what was the situation. Remember, your interviewer does not know anything more than is written in your resume. Sometimes they don't even know what is written in your resume. Well, I'm just kidding. Honestly, they know. So just remember that thing. They don't know anything more that is written in your resume. So it's your job to tell them. It's your job to give them the setting, to describe them the picture, to explain the situation first. Then what you need to do. You need to say what was your task in that situation. Who gave you that task? Whether it was your team lead or project manager or you yourself. Because, for example, if you have a behavioral question, tell me about a situation when you took a lead or took an initiative. It should be always you who identified and designed this task for you, because obviously you took initiative, you took a lead here, okay? So S for situation, T is for task. Next one, and the most important here in STAR technique, this is action. What steps did you take to resolve a problem? What steps did you take to have a result? So this is the most important thing that you did, what you would tell your interviewer. And the last but not least here is result. Should be always positive, always great. Can you see that great job on the star near the result? This is what your interviewer should think after hearing your answer. All right? So if you have the mediocre result, not the best one, or the one that could be better and you know it, keep it to yourself and give the interviewer example where you have just the best result from your experience, positive, great result. All right? So one more time, STAR, how to answer this. This is STAR as situation, T, task, A, action, what you did, what steps you took, and R, positive and great result that you achieved. Okay? Okay. I hope this is clear, because now we'll have some fun. We'll play a game. But before that, could I ask Katya, how many people do we have?
We are okay if we just have one breaking room, so we don't have like to divide people here.
Good, good. So we're okay with one group. Thank you, thank you. So please take your iPhones, smartphones, anything that you could use for QR codes. Use this QR code. You would be directed to kahoot.it for playing a game. They would ask you to insert pin, game pin, and then we'll start the game. While you're using your QR's codes here, I'll explain you what the game would be. It would be a multiple choice, ABC. It would be 9 questions. You will see 9 questions with obviously 4 options for each question. And you will see the extract from the candidate's answer to a behavioral question. What you need to do, you need to decide whether it's a situation, task, action, or result, our STAR technique. You will have 20 seconds for each question, 9 questions, multiple choice. I hope everything's clear. I hope you already used your QR code and you're already on kahoot.it, because, oh, just a second, I need to move, yes, because now we're starting this game.
I'm sorry, can you return the previous slide for a moment?
Sure, just a second. This one?
Yes, 1 second.
Yes, sure, take your time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so they ask you for game pin. And game pin you can see on your screen, laptop's a computer screen. This is 2, 7, 9, 8, 9, 7. After you insert your game pin, they would ask you to pick some username which you will have for the game. After someone already here in Kahoot for the game, we will see the names of players and the number of players here on this board. For now, no one, oh, already one player. Why? Hello, I like your nickname. We're waiting for other players. For now, Maria, hi. Nadia, hello. Any other people to join us? Wait a bit. Ira, hello. Thank you. Alex, hi, welcome. Okay. 5 people already here. Okay. Who are we waiting for? Oh, we have everybody on board already. And do we have, okay, we'll wait just one probably more minute and then start. Because I see another people here in the chat, but I don't see people here on Kahoot.
Yeah, there are people who are still connecting, so just let's wait another 30 seconds, I guess.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'll show you I'll show you a QR code just in case you need it. Okay. Alina, welcome. Okay. Probably that's it. Okay, should we start or should we wait? If there's someone that we should wait for, just unmute yourself or write in the chat so I could know that. Or we will start the game.
I guess we can start.
Yeah, well, let's start then. Okay, so get ready. Let's get the ball rolling. You'll have 9 questions. And the first one is already here. First, I had a conversation with him and asked him how he felt it was going. Is it a situation, a task, an action, or a result? First, I had a conversation with him and asked him how he felt it was going. Situation, 1 answer, 2 answers, 3 answers. Good! And only 1 of you were correct. Okay, this is still the first question. Let's move to the next one. Okay, Nadia, congrats. This is you who were correct. Next one. Internally, we got lots of great feedback from sales and from senior management. Is it a situation, a task, an action, or result? We got a lot of great feedback from management and sales. 4 answers, 3 seconds, 5 answers, all right? Good, and 3 of you were correct. We're doing better here. Who's leading? Nadia, you're leading. Why? I don't know who's why, but he or she is right behind your back. And Ira, you're also on that road. Next one. Third, on my operating system project, I was assigned to work with 3 other people. Is it a situation, a task, an action, or a result? 2 answers already, good. 4 answers, good. 5. Do you have the 6th? All right, 3 of you are correct. Good, good. Let's see. Nadia, you're leading. Ira, you're just the 2nd place, but you were close. Same for X. And Alex, you were right this time. Good. Next one, 4th one. I asked him to help me with breaking out some of the components of the project. I asked him to help me with breaking out some of the components of the project. Situation, task, action, or result. What do you think it is? 5 of you are correct. Congrats. Congrats. Let's move on. Yes, all right. I see everyone had positive, right, correct answers. Next one, 5th one. I didn't want to write him off completely yet, but I needed to resolve this issue. Situation, task, action, or result. I needed to resolve this issue. 2 answers, 10 seconds. 3 answers, 4. Where's the 5th? 5 answers, good. 2 of you were correct. Let's see who it was. Okay, Nadia, you're totally leading here. Again, the positions are just the same we had before. Next question, 6th one. Though this took us 1.5% over budget, the software was delivered on time with a better target fault tolerance. Situation, task, action, or result. 3 answers already. You're getting the track of it. We're waiting. 5 answers. All right, you already got it. Let's see how many answers were correct. All of them were correct. Great. Great here. Let's move to the next one. 7th. 3rd, and finally, I asked him to help me with breaking out some of the components of the project. 3rd, and finally, I asked him to help me with breaking out some of the components of the project. 4 answers, 5 answers, and already 7 seconds left. Let's try. Okay, I will wait because I don't know if I skip it. We'll see how many. 5 of you are correct. Yes, now I see that you know what you're doing now. 8th one. A customer complained that they'd waited more than 2 weeks for a reply from our sales team. Customer complained they waited more than 2 weeks for a reply from our sales team. Situation, task, action, or result. 5 answers already. All right, let's try to skip this and see. Yes, 4 answers, 4 answers. Just one person wasn't correct. No, two people weren't correct. Yes, it was a situation. Next one. Next one. And the final one. The client not only continued to order from us, but posted a positive customer tweet. Situation, task, or result. 4 answers. You're fast, guys. You're really fast. 5 answers. And 6 of you were correct. Great job here. Let's see our podium. We already guessed the results. Ira, you had the 3rd place. Who have why? I'm interested whose why is. You had the 2nd place. And the 1st place, Nadia, is for you. Let's congratulate this, guys. All of you did a great job. And I see that you now already know what is STAR and what it stands for, and mainly how to use it better. All right, now we have somebody in the chat written something. Thank you. You're welcome. Let's continue with the presentation. Just give me a second. I'll move this board because I cannot continue with the presentation while I have not. Oh, yeah. I moved it somewhere. All right, like this. Now we can continue. Almost. I again need to move this board. Just a second, guys, because my Zoom board does not give me like this. Let's continue with the presentation. And now, as we already know the track, what are STAR, what is situation, task, action, and result, let's now practice how to answer actually these behavioral questions. So is there anybody here who would like actually to unmute himself or herself and try to answer this question using STAR technique? And the answer is like this. Tell me about a challenging interaction with a teammate. Do we have anyone brave here who would like to press that unmute button and try herself or himself in answering using situation, task, action, and result? If not, that's totally okay. We have example here and we'll cover it together. Let's see the example. So again, the question. Tell me about a challenging interaction with a teammate. First, it's a situation. On my operating system project, I was assigned to work with 3 other people. While 2 were great, the 3rd team member doesn't contribute much. He stayed quiet during meetings, rarely chipped in during email discussions, and struggled to complete his components. This was an issue, not only because it shifted more work onto us, but also because we didn't know if we could count on him. So, the candidate painted the picture of what was there, what was the situation. Next one. He's telling about his task. I didn't want to write him off completely yet, so I tried to resolve the situation with him. And then we slowly move to the action, to the main part of your answer. For this candidate, the action was from 3 steps. For you, it could be 2 steps or even 1, depending on what your situation and your problem was. Let's see his answer first. First, I wanted to understand why he was acting like this. Was it laziness? Was he busy with something else? I stuck up a conversation with him and then asked him open-ended questions about how he felt it was going. Interestingly, basically out of nowhere, he said he wanted to take on write-up, which is one of the most time-intensive parts. This showed me that it wasn't laziness, it was that he didn't feel like he was good enough to write a code. Next. Second, now that I understand the cause, I tried to make it clear that he shouldn't fear messing up. I told him about some of the bigger mistakes that I made and admitted that I wasn't clear about a lot of parts of the project either. And third and finally, I asked him to help me to breaking out some of the components of the project. We sat together and designed a thorough spec for one of the big components in much more detail than we had before. Once he could see all the pieces, it helped show him that the project wasn't as scary as he assumed. What we can see from all this action, from all these 3 steps, not only what candidate did, but I, as an interviewer, as a recruiter, I listen, and in my chart of characteristics, I tick first, initiative. He took initiative and started conversation with that teammate who wasn't contributing. Second, empathy. He wanted to know what was the problem, why he didn't contribute. Third, I see compassion here. He wanted to know what was there and he wanted to help that teammate that didn't contribute. And the last here, not the last, almost last, because here is also humility. He also admitted his own mistakes, and I tick here, check for empathy, check for compassion, check for taking initiative or taking a lead, check for humility, and check for teamwork. So while you're thinking about your answer, and especially about the action, the steps you take or you took, because it's about your past experience, think what your words, what message it brings. For this candidate, it was this 5 characteristics that I saw. Let's see the result. And remember, the result should be always positive, always great. With his confidence raised, he now offered to take on a bunch of the smaller coding work, and then eventually some of the biggest parts. He finished all his work on time, and he contributed more in discussions. We were happy to work with him on a future project. And the interviewer, hearing that answer, wanted to say, great job. That star with that sign on it. All right. I hope this example is clear for you. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat or just to unmute yourself and ask me. Okay? And we continue with another question. Describe the situation when you had to convince the others. Do we have any volunteers that want to try himself or herself answering this question using STAR technique? Who would like to be a volunteer, the hero of this workshop, and this question? Do we have any? If not, that's okay. We still have the examples. So the first one, in the STAR technique, again, it's a situation. Okay, we have something in the chat. No. Okay. All right. So the situation. A customer rang up complaining that they'd waited more than 2 weeks for a reply from our sales team regarding a product query. This is the situation. It's clear. Let's see the next one. What was that? The task. I needed to address the client's immediate query and find out what went wrong in the alternate process. Also clear. Customer complaint, task to find out what was wrong. Next, action. Here, action. You see, just one step. I apologize, got the details, and passed them to our head salesperson, who contacted the client within an hour. I investigated why the query hadn't been answered. I discovered that it was a combination of wrong mobile number and a generic email address that wasn't being checked. I let the client know and offered a goodwill discount on her next order. See, very simple here, but again, it brings good message here. Again, taking initiative, again, showing empathy, again, talking with the client by themselves. And the result here, again, very positive and great one. The client not only contributed to order from us, not only continued to order from us, but also posted a positive customer service tweet, which is way great result, I think, for every company. All right, then here with this example, we have one more. Actually, we need to move forward, and we'll do that because of the lack of time. I hope you already have a clue how to answer behavioral questions using STAR technique. I hope you remember that you need to describe a situation because the interviewer does not know about that. You can omit the task sometimes because it could be clear from the situation itself. Remember to think thoroughly about the steps that you took, your action, and always bring positive, great result. But what if on the interview you are asked a situational interview question that you don't know how to answer? What would you do in that situation? And what should you do in that situation? Just say this thing. I've never found myself in such a situation. I don't have such experience. But if I were in such situation, I would. And this slowly brings us to the second kind of situational questions. They are called hypothetical questions. These are questions that are not about your real experience that you had, but about some imaginary, some probable hypothetical situation, an experience that you might have on the position you're interviewing for. These hypothetical questions are the questions that usually start with this. What would you do if? Imagine a situation that, let's imagine that, supposing you were to do something, or you have been placed in charge for a whole team for a new project. What would you do? How to answer these questions? Using our favorite STAR technique. But you probably already noticed that this is interviewer who gives you the setting. So the situation is provided by the interviewer with his or her question. Though for your answer, you can repeat the situation. Just repeat the interviewer's question. Why? Just to buy the time and have time to think about your answer. Next one, task. It is also set by interviewer. Again, you can repeat it just to have more time for your answer. And now we move to the main part, to the answer. How should you do that? You should say, I would do this, this, and that, and then bring hypothetical result from your hypothetical actions, from your hypothetical steps. What I want you to pay attention for here is grammar. When you're answering hypothetical questions, use this structure. It's called second conditional. All teachers love all these names. What you should remember about this is that you should use if, then past simple, and the second part, I would, then infinitive. For example, if I were a team lead, I would give everyone extra day off. If I had bigger salary, I would work harder. Don't use these examples on your interview. They're just to grab your attention. These are lame examples. And remember that for the hypothetical answers, for second conditional, you say if I were, not if I was. This is just grammar. I hope you caught that, because now we're gonna have game time. You already know what to do with QR codes. So please use your smartphones, iPhones, and use this QR code. You'll be again directed to kahoot.it. They will again ask you to insert game pin. You'll again need to insert your username or nickname. So we would see that on the board. But here you would have just 5 questions, not 9. Again, multiple choice, again, ABC. Okay, we have something in chat here. Again, just a second. Yes, you can use the same. No. Game pin different, sorry. I will show you the game pin. Just a second. It will be here in a second. Yes, it's here. This is game pin. Another one, because another game. This game, okay, we have something more in chat. Just give me a second.
No, it's me typing. Ignore
okay.
it.
Okay, Katya, thanks. So, okay, I see already people here. You're fast, honestly, great. So we'll have here five questions. Here, you'll need to fill in the gaps. And then it would be just one gap for each question. Again, you have 20 seconds for each question, just 5 questions, fill in the gaps, just one gap for each question. Is everyone here already? I think yes. Can we start? If there's someone still trying to be in the game, please just write in the chat, okay? Okay, no one. Okay, so let's start. Get, set, go. 5 questions. Hypothetical situations. The first one, and I cannot read it because of this board again. If I something, sorry, read it yourself. I cannot read it because I don't know where to put this word. Okay. If I find or found or find it or will find myself in situation, I would. 4 answers, 5 answers. All right. How many people have answered? 4 of you answered correctly. Great. Let's move to the next one. Okay, Alex, you're leading here. Maria, you're just behind his back. Nadia, you're 3rd place here, but that's still okay. Ira, you're 4th. And why? You'll know for the last place, but that's just the beginning. Second question. If you applied these changes, the application will work better, would work better, did work better, does work better. If you applied these changes, the application work better. 5 answers already. That's great. 4 of you were correct. Good. And the right answer was would. The application would work better. All right, Maria, now you're leading. Nadia, you're just behind her back. Ira, you're the 3rd one. Alex, you'll do the better thing next time. Same. Why? You were right here this time. Next one, 3rd one. We something to talk about imaginary, hypothetical, present or future situations and their results. We used either would or will or shall or did to talk about hypothetical situations. 3 answers, 5 answers. I'm waiting for my more. All right, good one. 5 of you are correct. All right. Let's see who's leading. Maria, you're leading, but Nadia, I see that fire near you. Guys, you're doing great as well here. Ira, Alex, and Y. Next one. 4th one. If I better salary, I would work better. If I have, if I will have, if I would have, if I had. 4 answers already. You're fast. 5 answers. Good job. 4 of you were correct. 2 of you thought if I would have. Almost would have. Maria, you're still leading. And the fifth and the final one. If I, the CEO of our company, I would. If I was, 5 answers already. We're waiting for one more player to give the answer. Or if I was, if I were, if I am, if I will be. 6 of you were correct. Congrats. Great job here. Let's see the podium. For hypothetical situational questions, Alex, you're having 3rd place. Congrats. 2nd place is for Nadia here. Congrats. And the 1st place is for, drumroll, Maria. You're having the 1st place here. I'm giving you the round of applause. I think everyone else is giving you the round of applause as well, but all of us are muted. Let's continue with the presentation. Again, I need to move this board. Just give me a few seconds to move this board again. All right, we'll do like this. And now we'll be on the presentation with you. So, for the hypothetical questions, again, we use STAR technique. But now I hope you'll remember that we use second conditional here. Like if I were, if I had, I would. Is there anyone that would like to try to answer this hypothetical question using STAR technique and second conditional? This one's way harder, but still, maybe you have enough courage to try it. If no, we still have our examples. I'll check in the chat, do we have any volunteers? Okay, and we'll continue. So first, I'll read the question. It is long one. Hypothetical ones are always long ones. So, you've been assigned a major project and are halfway through when you realize that you made a mistake that requires you to go back to the beginning to fix it. How would you handle that? While still trying to make your deadlines. What the candidate answered using STAR technique. First, situation. He actually repeated the situation just to buy his time. And he repeated the task just to think about his answer. What he said in an action. His action, his hypothetical action, was about 2 steps. First, the first thing I would do is to stop whatever I'm doing on the project and really investigate the mistake. Is it small enough that I can correct it without losing time? If so, I would make sure that I fix the problem immediately and move forward. If it's a mistake that requires a full reworking of the problem and the solution is going to force me to come close or even miss my deadline, I would make sure to immediately inform my PM and team lead and let the team know what was going on. Ideally, it would be a situation where I could adjust my work accordingly and, if needed, put in extra time to make the deadline without compromising the rest of the project. So you see, he started with a conditional, second conditional. If I were in that situation, I would, but then slowly moved just to present simple, and it's totally okay. Same you can do, just to not mess up with grammar and not to think about grammar when you actually need to think about what you should answer. Okay, let's see the hypothetical result. If the mistake is the result of my work, it's just hypothetically, as painful as it might be, I have to come clean. If nothing else, it can provide a learning opportunity for any other people I might be working with who are in similar situations or dealing with similar scenarios. So the result here, again, hypothetical, he would resolve the issue even if he had to work overtime, and he would say that it's actually his fault if that is his fault, and that he would also admit that in front of his team members and teammates. Maybe they are in the similar situations. Again, empathy, humility, taking initiative here. All right? All right. There's also one more thing I want to show you here for answering hypothetical questions. Instead of using STAR technique, we can use start with actually STAR technique, but then take a move. I'll show you. First, let's read the question here. You're working on a project with a tight deadline, but you find that you're unable to complete your sessions because your coworkers and your PM are unavailable to answer a few key questions. What would you do with the situation? We're limited of time now, so I would not read you the whole example. I will just explain you here. What do we do here? First, the situation. You already have it here. Again, you can just repeat it. Same about the task. About an action. First, you use your second conditional. If I were in that situation, I would, and tell what you hypothetically would do in that situation. And then, instead of telling hypothetical result, the one that we saw in the previous example, turn it in a bit different. Turn it in a one more star. Telling, actually, I had a similar situation in my experience. So actually, start answering this question like a behavioral one. Tell about the situation and tell that in this situation, I did this, this, and that. So again, you again use as as a situation. Then you can tell your task. What was your task there? Then what did you do there? Your steps. And here, instead of telling hypothetical result or hypothetical question, you're actually telling the real result that you gained from real actions that you took. This is very powerful one. Why? Because it shows that you actually have experience that they want. Again, if you weren't in similar situation, it's still okay. Just bring hypothetical actions, bring hypothetical results. It's totally okay. And for people who are interviewing for junior positions, who are just out of university, for example, or for people who are switchers, so they are working in one field and want to move to totally another field, they don't have relevant experience. HRs and recruiters would ask hypothetical questions then. Why? Because they understand that such people don't have experience yet, but still, if you have similar experience somewhere professionally or somewhere in a team, bring this to the interview. It always works, and it always works great. All right? Good. Oh no, we're not with the example here. Here, with a different thing. Just a second. I know that time is flying and we're already close to the end. And if you're sitting now and thinking, okay, Mariana, we covered just 3 examples or a bit more, or 4, what should I do with all the rest 100 plus situational questions that I might be asked during the interview? If you're sitting and wondering this thing now, I have great news for you. I have the thing that could help you. I call it Magic 7. Let's see what that Magic 7 is. So right after our webinar or in the evening or when you have time at the weekend, sit and think throughout all your experience about these 3 key questions. Come up with at least 3, but better 5 challenges that you faced during your work, during your professional experience, and think using STAR technique how to answer them, how to show how you overcome those challenges that you faced. Think about your biggest mistakes and failures. Everyone has mistakes, everyone has failures. Think about that situation and how you could describe them, again, using STAR technique. Think about conclusions. In other words, what would you do differently now that you have that experience in the situations where you made those mistakes? Think about your accomplishments, your greatest achievements, what you're the most proud of, about the conflicts that you have with your teammates, with your team lead, with your management, or with the customer. Think about what drives you. what motivates you, why you come to work every day. And think about leadership, the examples where you took initiative, took a lead. And if you cover these 7 steps, these 7 things, you will have answers for almost every situational question on the interview. I'll show you. For example, the interviewer will ask you, tell me about a difficult decision you've made in the last year. This is your challenges. Tell me about a recent situation in which you had to deal with a very upset customer, stakeholder, angry coworker, team lead, PM. This is your conflicts. Describe a stressful situation at work and how you handle it. Again, challenges. Give me an example of a time when you tried to accomplish something and failed. I think you know it already, failures and mistakes. Tell me about a project that wasn't going to meet deadline and how you minimized or confronted the consequences. Again, challenges. Tell me about your biggest success and biggest failure. This is both challenges and mistakes and accomplishments. Give me an example of when you showed initiative and took a lead. Leadership. Tell me about the accomplishment that you are most proud of. Again, accomplishments. What have you done professionally that is not an experience you would like to repeat? This is what would you do differently after your mistakes and failures. And what is something that you'd be happy doing every single day for the rest of your career? This is what drives you. This is your motivation. So once you master this magic 7, you'll be able to nail almost every situational question that you have. Now, together with the situational question, also look through job description. Sometimes they are generic, just generic job description, but sometimes they actually want to see in you the skills that are listed in job description. So expect to hear the questions according to the skills that you have in the job description. For example, for QAs, that would be, tell me about the situation where you had the precise attention to details. Or for team lead or for management position, that would be obviously when you took initiative, took a lead, or managed some situation in bright colors. Okay? Okay. I hope everything's clear for you. Okay, we have something in the chat. I'm a switcher, Nadia. If I'm a switcher from another sphere, can I tell about the challenges, mistakes, etc. from my previous experience? Yes, you can for sure. They understand that you're a switcher, first thing, but while you're doing this, make sure that you bring in examples that are the closest as could be to the position you're interviewing for, and also make sure that the result that you bring in the end is also positive and great. Just these things. But yes, about challenges, mistakes, etc. field. You see, these things are called soft skills, and they are all transferable for every job position, for every title. So about this, you can talk even if this is totally different field, if this is totally different sphere. Okay, thank you, Marina. Bye. All right, we actually, and Marina already remind me that we need to be faster now and that we need to finish faster. All right, let's get back to the presentation. What I want you to leave this presentation with is these 4 main points. This is STAR technique for answering situational questions. First thing, you can omit T in a STAR because it could be obvious from the situation what was your task. Next thing, if you're answering behavioral questions, if you're talking about your experience, your past, use past tenses talking about that. If you're answering hypothetical question, not something that happened with you, just some imaginary thing, some probable situation, use second conditional. If I were in that situation, if I had that situation, I would do, etc. And make sure you're ready with your Magic 7 list because it would help you a lot. All right, this is it from my side. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I'll check chat again for the questions. Okay, do we have any? No. For now, no questions. That's okay. If you come up with any other questions, feel free just to write Katya or write me. I'll be happy to answer all the questions. If you come
Yes,
up with...
Alex. Oh, sorry, Mariana. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's just late, so I'm probably not very diplomatic. Yes, we will share this video with you. We will probably send it to the emails that you left when you registered.
That would be like that. I didn't see your question, Alex. I don't know why. Maybe.
Sorry. It was meant for me, but I guess that it's not like a
Okay.
big secret.
Okay.
I've just
Yeah.
seen that it was private. Sorry.
It's okay. So you know that you will get the recording. You know that you will get the
Now
recording.
everyone knows.
Yes, now everyone knows the secret. Katya, you revealed the secret. One more thing here, and the last thing here is actually let's stay connected. I will show you just one more QR code, the last one here. This is the QR code for our T-English page. And that's it. I thank you really much for your time joining us today. I hope you got something for you for preparing for your interviews, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Have a really great evening. Okay, we have something in the chat. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you. Thank you, Alex.